I watched Lawn Dogs last night, and it's a movie from the late '90s. It's like a weird, I guess, independent film. It kind of had an independent vibe to it, but I'm not sure on that. But I don't think it was widely marketed because I'd never even heard of it. I've seen, I don't know that I can say I've seen like most of the movies that came out in the '90s or whatever, but I that is the decade where the '80s and '90s. I've seen an assload of movies, both obscure and of course all the blockbusters. More particularly the '90s, because that's when I was alive, but never even heard of this movie. And I came across it by total accident because for some reason I was like looking at stuff Misha Barton had been in, and then I saw like a really weird like picture on Google Images of that movie Lawn Dogs where she's like showing her heart scar, and I was like, what the hell is this? And she's like a little kid in it, and I did like the movie. I thought it would honestly thought it would be bad. I kind of put off watching it because I thought it might be boring, but it's not. Uh, I the guy, the like the redneck lawn mowing guy, actually sort of liked his character, but I didn't like in the beginning when it was like showing what a free spirit he was. How he's like drinking while he's driving, and for some reason he like pours beer on his ear and then gets naked and stops all the traffic to do like some fancy flip into the river, and he's like just completely naked, and he just doesn't care what a free spirit. I found that really dumb, but that was the only time you really saw him do anything like that. I think that's kind of like a bad introduction to his character. Although, well, the way you really introduce him is just showing him mowing lawns for these like rich people in that gated community in the suburbs, like these people that they're just one step below mansions. Like if they had, it's one of those kind of neighborhoods. I actually really liked the look of the neighborhood. Uh, it it had like the way I know some of it was filmed in front of a green screen or blue screen. I could tell, but they just it had kind of a surreal, kind of Edward Scissorhands look to it in the suburb. But I liked the way it looked, and it was interesting to see that dichotomy of classes where you had these rich upper class like master's degree people, and then that dude mowing lawns who lives out in the fucking like way out in the forest or well, not in the forest, the woods or whatever. But it was weird that when I looked up where that was filmed, and it was filmed in like Louisville, Kentucky. That's I wouldn't imagine like a really nice like area for that. I was kind of surprised when I found out it was filmed there, but I find it's interesting that it was filmed and took place in Kentucky. I'm so tired of like everything taking place in California and New York. This even if it was filmed in California, which pretty much everything is because of Hollywood, I still liked it. Which it wasn't though, but even if it was, I still could have enjoyed it because I just like things being taking place in more random like states that people don't really think about, like Kentucky. Who gives a fuck? But so that I found that like how everyone was like sizing him up and like passive aggressive towards him and accusing him of like stealing lampshades. It turned out it was that weird little boy. But of course, the Misha Barton character, I liked and didn't like. One thing I had a problem like believing that accent because I actually think because she's British, which I didn't know, but I actually think that she does a fairly good American accent, especially for like a little kid. I couldn't have pulled off even a slightly believable British accent when I was like 10 or however old she was, and I can't do it now. So she was pretty good at pronouncing things like kind of flat, which I think when I hear British people speaking an American accent, they have a hard time like flattening their vowels. And I actually think she did that pretty well. But when she would say things like forest and moral, it's like she was being coached by somebody like some dude who's like 70 now who grew up in like like Rochester, New York, because she's saying forest and moral, which sounds weird, like even to me. Well, as like when like American, there are Americans that talk like that, and I'm American, and when I hear people say it like that, I'm like, why are you saying it like that? And some girl from Kentucky would not be fucking saying we went out to the forest. The moral of the story. When she says the moral of the story, I like had to rewind it. I didn't know what the fuck she said, and I was like, oh, she's saying moral. So that I don't know that maybe she just could not pronounce those flat. So like I just give her like some weird New York accent. But otherwise she speaks in like that kind of flat like any town USA American accent. But also I liked the way the mother talked too. She was such a like nuclear family mother, although that was not the nuclear family because it was just one child, just a daughter. You gotta have the brother too. But you know, you had the lame dad and the mother who didn't appear to have a job, who wore like the bonnet and all that, you know, just such a fucking like trying to be like a classy 50s chick. And she even talked in that like transatlantic kind of accent, you know, like the I'm gonna I'm gonna go get some coffee, like that old when you watch old movies where they're American, but they sort of sound British, but not completely. She kind of talk like that. Like it seemed like she was like the mom was trying so hard to be fucking classy and drove a convertible and shit. And I liked how they had this like the daughter of these she was like rich and privileged, but she's like fucking weird and doesn't really have any friends. Although how weird she was, like they did some stuff in the movie that was just I found kind of creepy. Like when she goes outside on the roof of her house and takes her shirt off. What the fuck was that about? You can't really see anything, and I'm not even sure if it's actually her or like a body double or something. But it's just that was weird. And there's a part where she gets on her dad's uh, car and pulls her panties down, and you see it from like a point of view shot. And I was like, what the hell is this? And then she just starts pissing on the fucking mirror. I mean, not mirror, the window, windshield, whatever. And I was just like, the hell is this? Like, why? I mean, she was so weird, but I did like how her parents really tried to pawn her off as this like wholesome girl who like they made her make her go out and sell cookies and shit, but she never sells like even one. And she also kind of gets a false start to her character too, when like she seems like she's going to be this like really bitchy chick because the sheriff or what not the sheriff but like the security guard of the gated community is like, oh hey there little girl, want me to buy some of your cookies? She's like no and walks off, but she's really just more this repressed weird girl who keeps wanting to hang out with the redneck guy. I guess it was a weird kind of Capulets and Montagues kind of thing where these classes. I mean, it was all like a social commentary on classes of societal stature and all that, which I found interesting. Also, liked that the mother was cheating on her husband with that like that weird dude who that weird suburban dude and his gay friend that was who was like hitting on that redneck guy. What was his name? Trent. Everybody kept wanting to fuck Trent, which I found kind of hard to believe. And he kept fucking that chick that lived in the neighborhood, and she's like hiding it from him. I mean, hiding it from the rest of the neighborhood. I mean, that was interesting. It's just like what cunts rich people are. But I feel like Trent could have been a better. Well, I don't think he was badly acted or badly written or anything. Just it's not what I would have done with him. But whatever. I do think it's believable that that girl would keep wanting to talk to him because she's obviously really bored by her rich family and doesn't have any interest in talking to other rich people. And so she's talking to this weird dude that lives by himself out in a fucking trailer that mows lawns and like drinks all the time. And I kind of thought they might be doing like a he sort of wants to fuck her kind of thing, but I don't think he does. Because like in Leon the professional, he does kind of want to fuck the younger girl towards the end of it. He's like, "I love you." I do think that he wanted to fuck her by the end of that, but I don't think that Trent wanted to fuck Misha Barton. I don't think the character wanted to. I don't know that she wanted him to fuck her either. I think that might have been a little bit more of like a. I'm not sure what I would have to watch again. I was like when I first started watching it, I was like at the beginning of the movie I was sober, but by the end of the movie I was pretty drunk. So I don't like. I would have to watch it again to like really do a character analysis. But and another thing I wanted to mention was that the guy that was fucking Misha Barton's mom tries to grope the little girl in the car. I mean that was creepy. I mean you really hate him. And then at the end of the movie, the gay friend of his who's kind of the lesser evil, he ends up getting shot. I mean it's interesting when they confront Trent in his fucking trailer because Misha Barton doesn't like him because he accidentally like runs over the dog and then he like beats it to death with a plank of wood to put it out of its misery. That seems a little. I'm putting it out of its misery. I'm gonna beat it with a plank of wood, but I do like the how it culminates with her saying like oh yeah she unbuttons her shirt and shows him her fucking scar down the middle of her chest because she had to have heart surgery. And then for some reason she's like, touch it, and he does, which is I don't know why the fuck he would do that. But then she's like, he touched my scar, so they go out there to. I guess they're gonna kill him. I don't know, but she knows that her dad. Yeah, she finds the gun in her dad's glove compartment earlier on, and the gay guy is like, I think yeah, he's gonna like kick Trent's ass or whatever, and then she shoots him. I would have liked to have seen the dude who tried to rape her get shot. I think that would have been better. I don't know. I don't know why they killed him. Well, he doesn't necessarily die, but I don't know why they shoot him instead of the other dude. Again, that's not what I would have done with it. But and the ending, like when she's imagining her little fairy tale, like protecting Trent as he drives away, I thought that was kind of stupid. I would have rather had something like I would have preferred a little more of an ending. I don't particularly like ambiguous endings, but I guess you can just figure he got away. But yeah, Lawn Dogs, it's it's not bad. I liked it a hell of a lot better than Tusk. It's an interesting movie. I would say it's worth watching.